Good evening, and welcome to this year's spooktacular event. He just said spooktacular. Crap, I don't know. I should have paid more attention before, I guess. I can't remember. Was anyone good at, like, picking locks or finding things or something like that? Well, Wolf volunteered to stay behind, so maybe I should just leave him behind. Naturally. Let's have fun with this. Good luck. Oh, he seemed happy about that. Okay. Mr. Wolf looked around for a moment, uncertain about what he was supposed to do. Mr. Bandages let out a sound of irritation before getting up and knocking on the door. It opened to reveal the waiter from earlier. Was he standing out there the entire time? The wolf's out this round. He sent a pointed look to the envelope in the waiter's hand. If that's the second clue, you can give it to me. You're not the leader, Miss Archer is, so the clue should go to her. The waiter nodded and handed me the envelope and then led Mr. Wolf out of the room. The two of you knew there'd be another clue? There usually is in Eric's games. Well, are you going to read it or not? I opened the letter and scanned it before reading it aloud. A key that must be held, a key that must be spun, a third that must be solved until you're left with none. That's the clue, but there's also this part that says we don't need to leave this room to find the first key. I guess we should start looking. I doubt we're looking for a normal key, so keep an eye out for anything unusual. We set out examining the contents of the room, but there was one thing I couldn't help but wonder. Where are we supposed to use this key? Let's just focus on finding it first. We looked around for a bit longer, but I found nothing even remotely resembling a key. A loud noise of banging had my head whipping around, but I couldn't see the cause. I found it! Mr. Bandages was balanced on a chair with his hand reaching awkwardly above the shelves. He pulled his hand back a bit, and the wall behind us slid open, but the moment he let go, the wall slammed back down, repeating the noise from earlier. By the looks of it, this key needs someone to actively keep it open. It's in a bit of an awkward position, though, so the person has to stay behind while the others go through. How do you think we can keep it open? Long enough for the two of you to get through. I guess I'm staying behind, then. You better not screw this up. Good to see you have so much faith in us. Come on, Miss Archer. Let's leave this stuffy old guy behind. He grabbed my hand and pulled me over to the hidden door before giving Mr. Bandages the go-ahead to open it. The moment it was high enough, we darted through, not wanting to risk the door falling on us. A hallway. A hallway? I don't see anything to be spun here. Must be closer to the other end. We'll be alone together for a bit longer. I'm glad. Mr. Bandages, we're going to explore this hallway. Fine. If you need to get back, just knock. I'm not staying in this position if I don't have to. Having said that, he let the door slam shut. The Count and I walked through the hallway until we came to a dead end with a table that had a strange machine on it. The key that must be spun. A Wimshurst machine. I guess we're expecting to provide electricity to move the door. Let me do this. A lady shouldn't have to do physical labor. He spun the handle a few times, observing how much effort it took to move the door and keep it open. After a while, he turned to me, looking determined. I can keep the door open long enough for you to get through, but the moment I let go of the handle, it's just going to fall back down. I guess this is where we part for now. Good luck. Thank you. I positioned myself in front of the door, and he started spinning it again. The moment it was high enough, I darted under and entered the new room. The room actually had a door that wasn't hidden. Something that needs to be solved. I walked up to the door, and the third clue became clear. There was a sliding puzzle on it. Piece of cake. Oh no, not a sliding puzzle! I hate these! Oh god! Ah! Well, that wasn't too hard. And done! The moment the last piece slid into place, a different door swung open and a man walked in. You finished the puzzle. Your team receives 3 points for this task. Your team awaits you. Aw. Little chibi babies. I followed him to a room where the 3 of them were sitting. The moment he saw me, Mr. Bandages pointedly looked away. What's wrong with him? He's sulking because it wasn't a 5. Which really isn't that nice. I mean, I'm sure you did your best. That's really all we care for. Honestly, it could have been worse. I took a seat and turned my attention to the big screen television. So what are we watching? The other team's tasks. But those are different from what we did. Each team received a unique task. It's quite fun to watch. It's not fun, it's research. We might get some of these tasks later, not to mention that knowing how many people you need to watch out for in a competition isn't a bad thing. It can also be fun research. A couple of hours later, a now familiar tone sounded. Another announcement? All teams have now finished their task, one way or another. Congratulations to those who were successful, and my condolences to those that weren't. Don't worry too much, tomorrow is another day, after all. As for today, normally I'd have everyone gather in the dining hall for dinner, but seeing as we're doing the whole team thing, we might as well stick to it. Dinner will be brought to each team's current team area, but be warned, your performance in the task determines the quality of food. Enjoy. Another tone signaled the end of the announcement. A waiter came in wheeling a cart stacked with an assortment of food ranging from roast chicken to salad to pudding. We earned this? If you'd done better, we could have gotten better food. Better, but this is the kind of food I like. Ignore Mr. Skeleton. He's used to having 5-star meals and fails to appreciate simpler dishes. Oh, chicken! It looks delicious! Having food like this every now and again is a treat. Every now and again? I'm in a similar boat to Mommy's boy over there in that I usually have 5-star meals, but I do find meals like this have their own charm. The 2 of you are really famous, aren't you? Well, you are too. This is a get-together for the rich and famous, after all. Yeah, but I'm new to all this. It's just, I feel so out of my depth around people like you. We're still just people, you know. We just live in the limelight. It's part of why this masquerade is so alluring. A chance not to be you for a little while. I never thought about it like that. I, for one, like being me. I don't see what all the fuss is over I don't see what all the fuss over behaving like one of the riffraff is about. Riffraff? You call your fans riffraff? Without them, you wouldn't be half as rich as you are. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Let me guess, you're a spoilt little rich boy who's had everything handed to him on a silver platter. Gold, actually. You're really lucky, you know? Lucky? That's one way to put it, I guess. Though I do prefer gifted. So why do you attend these if they hold no allure for you? I like winning. And yet, you've never won. Well, there's always this year. With this team. Hey, don't sell us short. It's still the first day. We can definitely take the lead. I look forward to seeing that happen if you can manage it. I, for one, have complete faith in our leader. She's level-headed and rational. Right, Mr. Wolf? Right. It's you, Mr. Brainless, who needs to show us what you're capable of. You're on. Honestly, watching them at that moment, I couldn't help but feel that we could make a great team. When I woke up the next day, the first thing I did after getting ready for the day was check for a note under the door. I found no note, but the sound of a fire alarm stopped me from thinking too much about it. Instead, I pulled open the door and rushed out into the hall and made my way outside. From the looks of it, everyone else had the same idea. Glancing around, I saw Mr. Bandages standing to the side, away from the pandemonium caused by the other guests rushing out onto the lawn. A few seconds later, I saw Mr. Wolf trying to get through the crowd, but failing. I kept looking around to try and locate the Count, but to no avail. I'll help out Mr. Wolf, because, like, I know I have social anxiety sometimes. I know what it's like to, like, be trapped in a crowd and be scared, so I'll help him out. I pushed my way over to him. You look like you could use some help. I grabbed his hand and pulled him with me as I navigated through the crowd. You need to be more forceful or people will just cut you off. But I don't want to have to push my way through. In these situations, it's push or be trampled. People tend to care more about their own survival than your safety. It's not necessarily nice, but it makes sense. If my pushing puts someone in danger, you're too kind and gentle, you know that? I'm sorry. It's not a bad thing, just look out for yourself sometimes. I'll try. I looked around for a moment, locating Mr. Bandages in the same spot he was before, but with the Count standing next to him. The others are over there. We should probably join them. They might have an idea of what they're supposed to do. Yeah, Miss Archer? Yeah? Thanks. Don't mention it. We made our way to where the Count and Bandages were standing. A curious look from the Count had me remembering that I was still holding Mr. Wolf's hand. If the way he started squirming and turning red was any indication, it reminded Mr. Wolf of that too. I hastily let go. Eric's got us all out here. The least he can do is tell us why. You noticed it too, then. What are the two of you talking about? Isn't there a fire or something? If it was a real fire, the sprinkler system would have kicked in, and it would have all... If it was a real fire, the sprinkler system would have kicked in, and the help would also be out here tending to the guests or trying to control the situation. Eric doesn't skimp on safety precautions. So this was planned? Seems like it. Wasn't that a bit much? Couldn't he have just used the PA system to tell us to assemble on the lawn? You'll find that our host has a flair for the dramatic, even in the most inappropriate situations. Well, it does make life fun. Is that Mr. Valdemar up on the roof? We all looked on the roof and see someone in a phantom costume standing on the roof. There's that dramatic flair I was talking about. I thank you all for gathering out here this fine morning. I hope you slept well. There's nothing quite like a fire scare to get the blood pumping, but rest assured that there was no fire. Today's task will require every member of each team to work together. I hope you will enjoy it. He dropped something and disappeared into a cloud of smoke. He's not even going to tell us what the task is? Wait for it. Suddenly a multitude of waiters pushing carts of food spewed out of the mansion. One of them made a beeline for us. Your clue, Miss Archer. He handed me an envelope before removing the cover on the food. And your breakfast. The Count, Mr. Wolf, and I all dug in with gusto. Could you at least let me read the clue first? Food now, clue later. He let out a frustrated noise before joining us in devouring the delicacies provided. Once I was satisfied, I opened up the envelope to read our clue. It's only half a clue. How can you tell? It says right here that we need to find the other half. Damn Eric and his need for 2 clues. Is it really 2 clues if... Yes. Are you going to read it all, or are we just going to stand here all day? Keep your bandages on. I was about to read it. Find the Troll of Riddles. There you'll negotiate. Let's see if you can pass this very special gate. Troll of Riddles? Eric? I don't think that's the kind of troll it means. Gross. Bridge and treasure guarding troll, then? Probably. It is a Halloween event, after all. Pity. I was hoping to get a chance to yell at him. So, any idea where this troll would be? If Eric wants to be a drama queen, which he does, it'd be at a bridge. There's a bridge in the South Gardens. South Gardens? Does he have a North, East, and West Gardens, too? Then I guess that's our destination. I'm surprised you didn't know that. The South Gardens are too showy for my taste. Who needs a river, a hedge maze, a greenhouse, a gazebo, and a fountain in the same place? Eric, apparently. We followed the Count around the outside of the mansion until a bridge and a man in a troll costume came into view. If the fact that we're the only guests here is any indication, we're the only ones with this clue. Is that a good or bad thing? It's an Eric thing. He likes to make things complicated. Halt, mortals! What business do you have here? So this is your bridge? At least we know you're not I will not deign to speak to a female. What the? Hey, that's just rude and sexist. Do any of you males have business with me? Oh no you don't. Team meeting now. I grabbed him and pulled him out of earshot of the troll. Looking back, I was glad to see that the others had followed obediently. He won't speak to me, but we need to negotiate. That's what I was trying to... No, you were trying to usurp me. What? What? I can't do both? Let me do it. I can charm the pants off of... Wait, that probably isn't the best thing to say when we're discussing a troll. I could give it a shot, but... Or you can just let me do what I was about to. Do we even know what we're negotiating for? Passage in the second clue, I'd wager. I doubt that's all. Those are things we need, so negotiating just for them and failing seems too harsh for one of Eric's games. True. Miss Archer, who would you rather have negotiate? What happened to voting? Why does she get to... She's the leader. It's a game decision. It's her choice. Besides, you wouldn't win a vote anyway. I think I'm gonna go with the Count. He's the most charming. He probably has the best chance of negotiating with the troll. It is listed as one of his skills, after all. Your faith in me warms my heart. Good luck. I don't need luck. I have skill. Let's see these skills of yours in action. Don't be too envious of me. The Count went to talk to the troll and returned a few minutes later, looking pleased. He'll let Miss Archer and Mr. Wolf through, give them the second clue, and walkie-talkies. So much for your skills. If you were the master negotiator you claimed to be, you'd have gotten us all through. From what I found out from the troll, walkie-talkies are much more useful in the next part of the task than the number of people you have. Fine, but why him? The troll thinks he's a kid, and women and children rate low enough to the troll that he counted them as one person. One person? The troll is a troll. At least it worked in our favor. True. Come on, Mr. Wolf. We have a task to complete. Okay. You have no idea how lucky you are, Mr. Wolf. You get to have a romantic time in the South Gardens with Miss Archer. What? Ignore him. Just focus on the task and remember you have to deal with me if you mess up. I'll try not to. Was that really necessary, Mr. Wet Bandages? I'd rather have him worried than blushing, stuttering mess that can't think straight. Well, we're going now. Remember, don't fail. This time when he tried to cross the bridge, we were met with no resistance. Take these. He handed a walkie-talkie to each of us. This way, if you get separated, you can still contact your mother. My mother? I'm not that old. Take this too. He shoved a second clue into my hand and walked off. Rude. Yeah. Let's see what this clue says. Get up high and see below. Where you stop, you should know. This clue is shorter than the others. I guess that's why it said half. Good point. So up high. The roof? I don't think he'd make us come outside and then try to get up on the roof. You never know. How about I climb that tree over there and we can start before we try scaling the mansion? It certainly seems pretty high. Are you sure you... Climbing a tree is something I can definitely do. I used to do it all the time as a kid. I kind of miss it. Then go for it. All right. He hooked his walkie-talkie to the side of his costume and started to climb. Once he reached one of the higher branches, he stopped and looked around. After a moment, I heard a cracking sound, and his voice came over the walkie-talkie. I think I get what the clue was trying to say. Yeah? That huge hedge is in fact a hedge maze. From up here, I can see the way to the goal. So these walkie-talkies are so you can lead me to it? Seems like it. All right, I'll follow your directions. I'll do my best to guide you. Oh no, another game! The goal is to reach the exit of the maze at the top. Click on a space to move onto it. Only adjacent spaces without a wall between them can be moved onto. Mr. Wolf will take a shout out the direction you should take. West. No problemo. When I reached the goal point, there was a man waiting for me. You have successfully completed this task. Your team receives 5 points for the task. I'll lead you out. I followed him back to the bridge where Mr. Wolf, Mr. Bandages, and the Count were waiting. You did it! Not bad. Your navigation skills are superb. Thanks. Please follow me to your team room. We arrived at our team room just in time for an announcement. Due to a multitude of comments, dinner will no longer be based on score. That is all. Enjoy the rest of the day. The tone signaling the end of the message sounded. That's a pity. I really liked the idea. I wonder who complained. Hey, don't look at me. I actually thought it was a good idea. It was useful for encouraging competition. Only in those that would rather not have the lower quality food. Which was apparently a multitude. Alright guys, I think I will end it right here for now. This seems like a pretty good stopping place. We will find out what the next challenge is in the next episode. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this Otome so far, and if you have any other Otome games you would like to recommend for Otome Tuesday, whether they're Halloween themed or not. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. And thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. I will see you on the next video. Bye, my spoopies! Yeah, there are 4 here. Their names are Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and, well, Freddy, of course. For being robots, they seem to have individual personalities of their own, as though they can feel. Can they feel love? It's amazing when you think about it.